Hello and welcome back. Let's cover 7C, Lesson 7C, changes to U.S. budget priorities. It's a little more on the touchy-feely on this one, so I'm going to be going into precise details for this tutorial based on how the questions are being asked. Not these questions, these questions. So let's dive into it. What do we get? Now, at completion of this video, you should be able to read a spreadsheet, create a line graph in the spreadsheet, interpret the information on a line graph, and find historical events that occur at data points. That one I'm a little not totally convinced on, at least on the example they gave. But let's try it. Let's see what we get. Okay, so in this class, we analyze data and graphic displays. We draw conclusions about the data by creating a hypothesis and supporting it with evidence from the graphs. And it starts here. Okay, so here's a spreadsheet or a graph from a spreadsheet on U.S. federal budget, education, training, employment, and social services. Notice the title, U.S. federal budget, education, training, employment, and social services. So it encompasses a lot of line items from different departments, different organizations, different parts of the federal government. Dollars are in millions, which means any number you see here, add. So this 20,000 is actually times by a million. So let's see, 20,000 times a million is hundreds, thousands, millions, 20 billion. $20 billion. So here is like 130 billion. So we're talking some real dollars here. Now what we're going to do is from this here spreadsheet, we are going to create this here graph. So let's pull out the spreadsheet. In the window here. There you go. Ugh. All right. So let's create that graph. Now notice we have the budget. On this graph we pulled up, we have the budget and we have a timeline of things that happened throughout the history of this here budget. Now to create that graph, so step one, select a row by the education budget by highlighting the row and clicking on it. Okay, so we want the education, training, employment. So let's just go and click on it and know how it highlights the entire row. Okay. Step two. Now let's go and try and find insert chart. Okay, so that'd be up here under insert, and go here. Recommend chart is a line chart, or we have a bar chart, scatter chart. We want a line chart here, and it's just a simple 2D line chart. Let's go over here instead. Oh my. Something moved on me. Only want this data here for row 6. There you go. And all right, here's a chart. And let's see, it looks like it has some similarities. Starts off flat and little wiggies, some big wiggles. Flat, little wiggles, big wiggles. Got title, got that scale. But we have different scale down the bottom. Okay. See, on the graphic creator, you can put labels on each axis by clicking the chart layout tab. Just scale by right-click on horizontal axis and choosing scale. All right, let's do that next. Okay, now in Excel, it's a little bit different. We want to add axes, so we're just going to click anywhere in the chart, and it's going to bring up some of these little icons. And I believe we want the plus. Yep, plus. Let's add axis titles. Here we go. And let's see, we want, how is it worded on the, here we go. Year 1 equals 1941. So let's do that. Year 1 equals 1941. And on the other one, budget in millions of US dollars. Click it. Millions of US dollars. Okay, and then you said to adjust this for every 10. So we're just gonna highlight it, double click on it, and labels every 10. What's this guy? It should be right here. Let's try this again. Okay, I'm on labels. I want the intervals to be every 10. Oh, okay. And for every 10. And I think we now have recreated the chart they had. Yep. I'll save a copy. Okay. All right. Now, personally, I'm a little off with this type. Personally, I would have done it a little bit differently. I would have done a chart But I would have also highlighted 2 rows, my years, and then using Control key, highlight 6. So now I have two items highlighted, the year and the budget. So now if we do insert, now we also got the year. So it's a little easier to keep track of what's what. And I think I'd probably go every 5 years. There we go. It means it's easy to see every 5 years. And I'm going to pass on the axes things. Heck with it. Budget year. Budget in millions of US dollars. There you go. I just think it's easier to find things on the graph then. You can also blow up a little bit, and if you hover on the chart, especially in between, like here we have the value for 1968, 2006, 2005, and so forth. So here's our budget. And can you save it? Yes, you can. Okay, and you buy and describe where in the graph, and for which years you notice interesting or unusual activities. This is where it's, when I look at look at up to about 1965 was nice and flat, pretty low budgets, and then it starts taking off in some ways at pretty much a constant rate up until about that's what happens here, 2001. Then it shoots up big time, and then it kind of like oscillates. Basically starts going from change the track. So let's see, 1965. Got a little bit of a drop here in 82. Actually, that would be then 81. Going up, going up, going up. And so that's really spiking 2001. And then 2006 drops off. Goes back up in 2009, 2010, 2013, 2014. All right. So let's go to timeline. Was that first time? 65. So what happened in 65? Let's see, President Jackson is the president. Space race is on. Malcolm X, a lot of civil unrest going on. But right about 65 is something when a lot of legislation. It's not on here. Called the called the Great Society. So a lot of social services were put in. We also, it's about that time when Medicare was started, Medicaid was started, expansion of the welfare system, a lot of educational things were going on. Vietnam was starting up, made a lot of training there. So a lot of social services were kicked in. 1981, Reagan wasn't off, got elected. So Reagan years. And again, in that time period, we saw seeing an increase. That caused a dip. Reagan years, so I think he was backing off on some services. 2001. Well, 2001 was 9/11. 2006. So again, I mean, a lot of things happen, but nothing means mentioning these timelines unless you're a really big history buff and you know that read in between the lines to tell me why some of these fluctuations occurred in education, training, employment, social services. Some of these variations could be due to unemployment. You know, a sudden downturn in the economy or a sudden upturn in the economy can cause these lines to change a lot. So these are the things we're talking about. That's why I say this is kind of the wishy-washy area. I think we killed this one, beat this one to death. Right. Let's see, any binder. Gotcha. Next question. And we were kind of doing that, trying to find correlation between these events and when these things were going on. For this one, it's not a whole lot. It's a little harder to see it. I'm not sure how well they correlate. Again, take for instance one here, this sudden downturn in 2006, 2005. Between a suicide bomber and North Korea doing testing, I don't see it for that one. But I do know in 2005, 2006, basically we started to get some recessions, and gotta look at it that way. All right, now on this one, you especially go back to the tab for historical federal budget and use your cursor to highlight the national defense row. National defense row. Here we go. And again, I want to do this guy too. And let's make this graph. So I highlighted the years and the budget. Make a line chart. And here's defense budget. And right click on each action to change intervals and labels, which is in the education graph. All right. So let's make some titles here. Budget year. Budget in millions of US dollars. A lot of money. Okay, do that. Okay. Print out, add to your binder. And your binder describe where in the graph, in which years you notice interesting, unusual activities. Now this one is a little more big uptick in 41 to 45. No big surprise there. Basically, we were in World War II at that point. Big drop and the war. Little uptick around 1950 to 53. Gee, what was 50 to 53? Hey, Korean War. Pretty much stays steady. And even though we were heavily involved in Vietnam, steady. A little bit of increase here. That'd be Vietnam. Then to about 1980, big uptick. This is during the Reagan and Bush years. Bush won, so Reagan got in charge, and he started doing a massive increase of military spending to fight the Russians and end the Cold War. That was 88 to 92, so forth. Little dip here. Technically, the Berlin Wall came down in 89. So we had a little peace dividend here. The 90s were the Clinton years. A lot of backing reduction in, not a whole lot of reduction apparently, but some retreat in terms of reducing number of shipyards and bases. Of course, 2001, we got attacked in 2001, 9/11. The day the World Trade Centers came down, September 11th. So we went to war again, and been on ever since. 2009. That's when 2008 is when Barack Obama got elected, and 2009 to about currently, we had a reduction until 2016 when President Trump got elected, and we don't have any data further out than that. But military defense, you can definitely track on historical timeline. 2009, 2017, Barack Obama. 2009, 2017. Enough of that. We did that. Create a line graph of the net interest data. Okay. Let's go with net interest. Can control click. Got my years and my budget. Here's our national debt. Or interest on the debt. Well, even with World War II, not that much. Let's see, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Start going up. And started rising around about early 60s. Let's see, Reagan, Bush years, Clinton, oh, 9/11, Bush 2, still Bush 2, oh, now Obama. Wrong button. Oh, okay. So let's see. I'm not sure what drove this one. Oh, that's right. This is probably for, again, military build and social services. Again, military build social services, and this was due the economic downturn, stimulus packages, and everything else that was approved by Congress. Whew. So, can you read a spreadsheet? I hope so. Can you create a line graph? I think so. Enter information? Possibly. Compare the historic events. A lot of that's based on how long you've been around for. So this was a bit of a wishier one. Little, not quite straightforward. A lot of talking. Hopefully, the big thing on this one is how to highlight. You got a spreadsheet. You want to compare budget of health services to energy to physical resources. This would be the numbers on the vertical. No, this would be the horizontal. This would be the vertical axis. So, oh, actually, it produces data. Interesting. Let's stick with time. So your time versus veteran benefits. Of course, insert kind of graph you want. Oh, they've really gone up quite a bit. They deserve it. So the big thing is being able to read a spreadsheet and create a line graph from a spreadsheet. Interpretation and finding historic events, that'll come with time. So with that, there we go. Tutorial is done. A little longer than I expected. And I'll see you shortly and we'll do the questions. So try and practice doing some of those graphs. Make your own. And I'll see you in a little bit.